Reason 3. HYBE's relentless push to redefine Jungkook beyond BTS. When BTS members first began navigating individual projects under HYBE's structured management system, one of the most discussed figures was Jungkook. Unlike some members who seemed to lean toward specific artistic niches, Jungkook became the centerpiece of HYBE's broader ambitions. What surprised industry watchers was not just the scale of his activities, but the systematic way HYBE positioned him as a standalone cultural force. This revelation brought several layers of debate in the entertainment business. Not because it was unexpected that Jungkook would succeed, but because of the calculated nature behind the moves. HYBE's strategy became clearer. While BTS as a group was temporarily focusing on individual activities due to military service timelines, Jungkook's schedule looked distinctly global. He was introduced not only as a Korean idol, but as a potential global pop frontrunner, something that extended far beyond K-pop's usual branding. His collaborations with Western artists, his Billboard achievements, and his central role in Calvin Klein campaigns were early signs. This positioning suggested that HYBE did not want Jungkook to simply maintain BTS's prestige. They wanted him to redefine what a solo act from Korea could represent. One of the shocking aspects was how decisively HYBE encouraged Jungkook to separate his identity from the BTS group framework. While the company publicly emphasized unity, behind-the-scenes industry insiders noted a clear shift. Jungkook's solo music releases were heavily backed with international promotion, strategic partnerships with US labels, and targeted exposure in markets often seen as difficult for Asian acts to dominate. This made analysts question whether HYBE was deliberately trying to build Jungkook as the prototype of the post-BTS idol standard, something that could withstand the absence of group activities. Another layer that stunned fans and critics alike was the marketing precision applied to Jungkook. Instead of leaning solely on ARMY's existing loyalty, HYBE extended campaigns toward fashion consumers, casual pop listeners, and even non-K-pop spaces such as sports and lifestyle markets. For example, his Calvin Klein campaign was not just an idol brand collaboration. It was positioned at the same level as international celebrity endorsements by figures like Justin Bieber or Kendall Jenner. The shock came from the realization that HYBE was treating Jungkook less as BTS's youngest member and more as an autonomous global asset, one whose appeal needed to be maximized across industries. Industry analysts often describe HYBE as more of a global entertainment conglomerate than a traditional music label. In this context, Jungkook's positioning revealed how HYBE intends to function in the coming decade. By pushing Jungkook as a solo powerhouse, the company essentially set a new benchmark. Idols were no longer confined to being part of a group's ecosystem, but could serve as independent cultural exports. This not only impacted K-pop's perception globally, but also created a new model for idol management, one in which companies treat individual members as multi-sector brands. While many fans celebrated Jungkook's success, the revelation that HYBE seemed to prioritize his global positioning more than other members raised discussions about favoritism. Some argued that Jungkook was simply the most market-ready member, while others saw HYBE's moves as potentially creating imbalance. Industry observers also noted how other Korean companies began imitating this approach with their most popular idols, signaling a structural shift across K-pop. What was once shocking in Jungkook's case became a template, proving HYBE's strategy had wide influence. The reason this development is considered shocking is that it challenges the foundational narrative of BTS as a group-driven phenomenon. Fans had long expected solo projects. But the scale and intent behind Jungkook's rollout suggested HYBE was deliberately rewriting the rules. Instead of allowing solo activities to remain secondary to BTS's identity, they actively cultivated Jungkook's solo image as potentially equal, if not greater, in global reach. For the entertainment industry, this signaled that HYBE was not simply managing temporary individual promotions, but actively shaping Jungkook as the face of its global future. Reason 2. The hidden power struggles between Jungkook and HYBE's corporate agenda. When we talk about revelations surrounding Jungkook and HYBE, one of the most fascinating aspects is not simply the company's support of his global rise, but the subtle tensions that exist underneath. Many fans and industry insiders assume idols and their agencies work in perfect alignment. However, as Jungkook's solo career began gaining momentum, there were clear signals that HYBE's vision for him did not always match his personal artistic intentions. This creates a second shocking revelation. Behind the polished surface, Jungkook's trajectory also reveals hidden power struggles between an artist and one of the most influential entertainment companies in the world. One of the earliest indicators of this tension appeared during Jungkook's solo debut rollout. While his global singles topped charts and brought massive streaming numbers, sharp-eyed fans noticed the gap between Jungkook's own musical tastes and the songs HYBE prioritized for release. Jungkook has frequently expressed admiration for R&B, hip-hop, and stripped-down ballads. Yet some of his solo tracks leaned heavily toward radio-friendly pop designed for the US market. This raised questions. Was HYBE prioritizing commercial success in the West over Jungkook's artistic vision? Insiders suggested that international label collaborations came with specific demands, and HYBE, eager to secure dominance in the US, may have encouraged Jungkook to adapt to mainstream trends. For fans who knew his raw artistry through BTS mixtapes, this divergence was a subtle but shocking sign that HYBE's agenda sometimes outweighed personal preference. Another layer of this hidden tug-of-war lies in branding. Jungkook's Calvin Klein campaign was a worldwide sensation, but it also sparked conversation about control. While Jungkook clearly enjoyed the collaboration, fashion branding also placed him in a highly commercialized spotlight. Industry analysts noted that HYBE leveraged his image more aggressively than most idols in fashion history, even orchestrating appearances and rollouts that felt closer to Hollywood-level celebrity culture than traditional K-pop partnerships. For Jungkook, who has always maintained a relatively private and grounded personality, this balance between being an artist and being a brand ambassador revealed the delicate push and pull of identity. Was Jungkook shaping the brand? Or was the brand shaping him under HYBE's supervision? This question remains central to understanding how HYBE manages its biggest star. Jungkook's presence on platforms like Weverse, Instagram, and even TikTok has also highlighted tension points. Unlike many idols, Jungkook's interactions often feel spontaneous and unfiltered. However, there have been moments where fans speculated that HYBE's PR team intervened in how his image was curated online. Sudden content removals, carefully timed posts, and the management of his live streams raised speculation that HYBE was actively shaping his digital narrative. This suggests a hidden battle. Jungkook, who values direct communication with fans, versus HYBE, which prioritizes consistency and control of messaging. In an age where idols' online presence defines global reach, this subtle tug-of-war reflects larger questions of autonomy in the idol industry. The question of military enlistment has been another area where HYBE's corporate agenda intersected with Jungkook's personal life. Fans noted that HYBE seemed to adjust group and solo schedules around enlistment announcements, with almost surgical precision. For Jungkook, this meant his peak solo promotions coincided with a window before his enlistment, raising speculation that HYBE deliberately positioned him as the group's frontline global representative during this period. The shock for many observers lies in the realization that even deeply personal matters like military service are intertwined with corporate strategy. Jungkook's path to enlistment wasn't just about duty. It became part of a carefully orchestrated business timeline. Perhaps the most striking layer of this revelation is the financial dynamic. Jungkook's solo success directly influences HYBE's valuation as a company. Market reports consistently link his activities to stock fluctuations, making him not just an artist, but also a financial asset. This gives him significant leverage, but it also places immense pressure on how HYBE manages him. The revelation here is that Jungkook is not only HYBE's most visible idol, but also one of its most crucial economic drivers. This creates an unusual dynamic. While HYBE holds power in managing him, Jungkook also holds silent power over HYBE's future growth. Industry experts have described this as a mutual dependency, where neither side can fully dominate without acknowledging the influence of the other. For many fans, the idea of tension between Jungkook and HYBE can be surprising because the company's public image projects harmony and mutual success. However, the closer you examine the mechanics, the more it becomes clear that his career is shaped not just by talent, but by constant negotiation. The revelation here is not scandalous in the traditional sense, it is structural. It exposes how even the most celebrated artist in the world must navigate between personal identity and corporate strategy. In the end, this hidden push and pull underscores Jungkook's position as both an idol and a case study in modern entertainment power dynamics. HYBE's rise to global dominance cannot be separated from Jungkook, and Jungkook's artistic journey cannot be separated from HYBE's corporate ambitions. That constant tension, sometimes subtle, sometimes visible, is the second shocking revelation in their relationship. Reason 1. How Jungkook became HYBE's blueprint for the future of idols. If the first revelation was about HYBE's aggressive positioning of Jungkook as a global star, and the second dealt with the hidden power struggles beneath the surface, the third shocking revelation is perhaps the most important of all. Jungkook is not just HYBE's most successful solo act, he is the blueprint for what HYBE wants the future idol to be. Every step of his journey, from music to branding to global strategy, has been carefully observed and replicated, not just within HYBE, but across the entire K-pop industry. This revelation is shocking because it redefines how idols are expected to operate. Instead of being performers bound to group activities, Jungkook represents the future model, multi-sector, cross-industry, and globally embedded. His career is no longer just about music, it's about shaping the framework for how entertainment companies will approach their biggest talents for the next decade. Traditionally, idols were trained to focus on music, fan service, and group promotions. Jungkook, however, has been positioned as more than a singer. His role within HYBE's strategy aligns with how global entertainment companies treat their leading stars as cultural exports. This means his music, fashion, public appearances, and even digital presence all serve as mechanisms to extend influence into international markets. HYBE's use of Jungkook in this way mirrors how Hollywood studios historically used actors, or how major sports brands use athletes. Instead of being tied to just one market or one function, Jungkook embodies a 360-degree idol who can exist simultaneously in music charts, fashion billboards, advertising campaigns, and stock market discussions. One of the clearest examples of this blueprint lies in his Calvin Klein partnership. For many idols, fashion endorsements are side activities that complement music careers. But with Jungkook, HYBE treated this collaboration as a cornerstone of his global branding. He was not marketed as a guest or seasonal collaborator. He was positioned as a face of the brand in the same league as global superstars. The shock here lies in the realization that HYBE wasn't merely accepting brand deals, it was actively shaping them to expand Jungkook's long-term image. The Calvin Klein campaign, amplified through airports, flagship launches, and high-profile events, created a new standard for idol fashion collaborations. In doing so, Jungkook became the template. Future idols under HYBE and beyond will likely be expected to carry similar cross-industry influence. K-pop history shows many idols who went solo after group success, but Jungkook's path is different. Instead of being a temporary solo activity, his career is being built as a fully sustainable brand. HYBE's blueprint here is clear. Solo idols should no longer exist in the shadow of their groups, but as self-sufficient figures who can drive global growth independently. This has far-reaching implications. Companies across Korea have started investing more resources into preparing their most popular idols for global solo branding, not just group activities. In this way, Jungkook's career does not only benefit him, it reshapes the very definition of what being an idol means. HYBE has rapidly diversified into gaming, webtoon production, AI-driven music tools, and global label acquisitions. What's interesting is how often Jungkook becomes the centerpiece of these expansions. His songs are promoted across multiple HYBE-owned platforms, his branding connects to corporate partnerships, and his presence boosts stockholder confidence. This model, where one idol serves as both creative figure and corporate anchor, is something new for the K-pop industry. It shows how HYBE envisions future idols, not just entertainers, but also economic engines integrated into multiple layers of the company. Jungkook is the prototype, proving this model works. Another shocking element of this revelation is how Jungkook's blueprint indirectly impacts other BTS members. While all members have thriving solo careers, Jungkook's pathway is distinctly global and corporate-driven. This sets expectations for how other members' careers might evolve and how HYBE prioritizes resources. Beyond BTS, rival companies such as SM, YG, and JYP have started shaping their idols in a similar direction, investing in global partnerships, high-profile branding, and cross-industry collaborations. In many ways, Jungkook has accelerated the evolution of idol culture itself. This revelation is shocking because it shifts how idols are fundamentally perceived. Jungkook is no longer just the youngest member of BTS, nor simply a talented solo artist. He is the living blueprint of what HYBE envisions as the future. A global cultural ambassador, an economic driver, and a model for the next generation of idols. What makes it truly impactful is that this transformation happened in real time, in front of millions of fans worldwide. While fans saw music releases, airport appearances, and brand campaigns, industry analysts saw something deeper: the careful construction of a new idol standard. Jungkook, by embodying this standard, is not only shaping his own legacy, but also reshaping the expectations placed on every idol who comes after him.